CEO wars. These CEOs started their companies with nothing. Where are they now? Some started big companies, others joined startup companies and made them successful. The likes of Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, and Howard Schultz, there was a time when these names meant nothing, and their companies were just in the beginning. Now, they're at the top, and all of their companies are bigger than ever. Welcome to yet another thrilling and fun video. In this video, we will be giving you the inspiring stories of CEOs that started their companies with nothing and still hit dizzying heights of success. Stay tuned and ensure that you're subscribed to our channel for a library of incredible videos. Also, hit the bell icon to get notified about our newest updates. Number 1. Jean-Paul DeJoria. Entrepreneur John DeJoria is entirely self-made. He's most well known as the founder of the Paul Mitchell line of hair products. But his early life was not characterized by his riches. He started his career as a truck driver, janitor, and even sold Christmas cards door to door. He was fired from his first job in hair care, working for Redken Laboratories. Then, in 1980, he formed John Paul Mitchell Systems with hairdresser Paul Mitchell, with just a loan of $700. He is now worth $3.1 billion. DeJoria once said, quote, "The biggest hurdle is rejection. Any business you start, be ready for it. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people is that successful people do all the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. When 10 doors are slammed in your face, go to door number 11 enthusiastically and with a smile on your face." Sounds like wise words to us. Number 2. Jean Koum. Could you live without WhatsApp? No, we couldn't either. Thankfully, Jean Koum, a Ukrainian immigrant to the United States, invented the communication app in 2009. After being born into poverty, Koum began learning about computers. At 18, he already had high-level skills, and in 1997, he began working for Yahoo as an infrastructure engineer. He launched WhatsApp to great acclaim after buying his first smartphone and having the idea for the product. His idea allows people to send messages between mobile phones via web, regardless of what country they're in. Facebook bought the app for a staggering $19 billion. The top tip to learn from his life? Do one thing and do it well. Number 3. Howard Schultz. Starbucks founder Howard Schultz is a household name synonymous with entrepreneurial success, but life wasn't always so rosy for him. His family didn't have much money, and he grew up in a housing estate. He paid for college with government loans and money he earned from part-time jobs. He was also the first person in his family to go to college. It was while working for a coffee company that Schultz first came into contact with the Starbucks brand. He visited a branch of the new company in Seattle. Soon after, he joined the company as marketing director, and in 1985, Schultz left Starbucks and decided to open his own coffee house. He raised the $500,000 he needed to open the first store and start his business. 2 years later, the original Starbucks management decided to sell its retail unit to Schultz, and Starbucks as we know it today was born. Schultz is now worth in excess of $2.9 billion. Not bad for an empire that he dreamed up over an afternoon cup of coffee. His experiences have led him to develop a philosophical approach to life. Schultz believed that life is a series of near misses. According to him, quote, "A lot of what we ascribe to luck is not luck at all. It's seizing the day and accepting responsibility for your future. It's seeing what other people don't see and pursuing that vision." Number 4. Oprah Winfrey. The powerful woman we know today as a talk show host, writer, campaigner, Golden Globe Award winner, and global icon was actually born into poverty in rural Mississippi and raised in inner-city Milwaukee. Yet, she didn't let her past define her future. After a troubled childhood, Winfrey landed a job in radio while still in high school. By 19, she was a co-anchor for the local evening news. Soon after, she became a daytime talk show host and went on to launch her own production company. By 32 years old, Winfrey was a millionaire. By 2000, she had a net worth of $800 million, making Winfrey the richest African American of the 20th century. By 2008, her yearly income had increased to $275 million. And by 2014, Forbes claimed that Winfrey had a net worth in excess of $2.9 billion. The reason she did so well? Because she aligned her work with her passion. In a speech at the Golden Globes, Oprah explained that the single greatest wisdom she'd ever received in life is that the key to fulfillment, success, happiness, and contentment in life is when your personality is aligned with what your soul actually came to do. She believes everyone has a soul and their own personal spiritual energy. You can't help it but be successful when you stay true to your dream. Number 5. Duan Cheng. Wang Sheng might not be a household name, but his fashion chain Forever 21 certainly is. Before launching the retail empire in 1984, Wang Sheng worked as a janitor at a gas station and in a local coffee shop when he first moved to America from South Korea. The first store he opened with his wife was 900 square feet in LA, and they opened it with only $11,000 in saving, plunging it all into the business. At first, the shop was called Fashion 21, and customers mainly came from the Korean American community. But soon the customer base expanded, and after a name change to Forever 21, the business exploded. It's now an international 790 store empire, and Du Wansheng is said to be worth $3.2 billion. The top tip to learn from his life: never forget where you came from. Forever 21 gives hope and inspiration to people with almost nothing. The fact that immigrants coming to America, much like Chang did, can enter a Forever 21 and know that all of it was started by a simple Korean immigrant with a dream is mind-blowing to say the least. Number 6. Ralph Lauren. Household name and fashion industry titan Ralph Lauren graduated high school in Bronx, New York, but later dropped out of college to join the U.S. Army. He was working as a sales assistant at a U.S. menswear store, Brooks Brothers, where he began to wonder if men were ready for something more colorful, specifically when it came to ties. In 1967, he decided to try his hand at running his own business, and he started selling ties. In his first year of trading, he sold $500,000 worth of merchandise. He started Polo the next year. The Ralph Lauren Corporation is now a global multi-billion-dollar enterprise, and Lauren is a household name, counting A-list models and actors as close friends. As of 2018, Forbes estimates his wealth to be $7.2 billion, which makes Ralph Lauren the 91st richest person in America. Number 7. Sophia Amoruso. Inspiration to many female entrepreneurs and fashion followers, Sophia Amoruso is the founder of Nasty Gal. She began her empire by scouring the racks at secondhand stores and selling her vintage finds on eBay. She used the money from her sales to move her stock into a warehouse and used MySpace and other social media platforms to attract customers. In 2016, her net worth was $280 million. But life wasn't always such an entrepreneurial journey. As a young adult, Amoruso lived a nomadic lifestyle, hitchhiking on the West Coast and grabbing food from bins to make ends meet. More recently, Amoruso has lost half of her fortune, but her star is still rising. She continues to evolve her personal brand, focusing on a best-selling memoir, a coffee table book, and a binge-worthy Netflix series about her past, Girl Boss. Amoruso once said, quote, "Everyone has a different personality in the workplace, and by bringing your best self and not always letting the small things sway you, that will allow you to keep rolling ahead in work and life." Number 8. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. The story of Steve Jobs and Wozniak starting Apple Computers in a garage in Los Altos, California is well known. The pair had pulled out from their respective college courses and began developing consumer computer devices in Jobs' parents' garage in California. But before this, Steve worked an assortment of low-paid jobs, including one when he was 13 for Hewlett-Packard. After developing a couple different models with Wozniak, the pair knew that they would need more financing, so Jobs had to find a guarantor to get a bank loan for $250,000. That was the beginning of his success, and he more than succeeded. When he died in 2011, he was said to be worth $10.2 billion. He'd built this up over a long time. He had $1 million to his name in 1978 when he was just 23. As for his legacy, well, it's in our pockets, on our screens, at the cinema in the 2015 film Steve Jobs, and all around us. Our favorite quote of his is, "Persevere when times get tough, because sometimes life is going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith." Number 9. Richard Branson. British businessman Richard Branson may be synonymous with entrepreneurial success, but he came from humble beginnings. At one point believing he was, quote, the dumbest person at school. His first attempt at business was by founding a student magazine that he launched in 1966. The youth magazines of that period were too boring, and his ideas for the magazine were too revolutionary for that time. So he created a space that would allow for fresh and new content that would interest the student audience. At first, he was very short of cash, but after a stroke of luck, which saw him inherit £100, he was able to pay his bills and keep the publication going for a few issues. The magazine was a success, and from this tiny acorn, the seeds were sown for his future success. He's now the founder of brands including Virgin Records, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Money, and his latest venture, Virgin Galactic, which he believes will be the world's first space tourism company. Richard believes in starting with the little capital that you have. There There's no doubt it can be easier to achieve lofty ambitions if you already have financial backing, but in many cases, you don't need lots of money to start a business. Rather than commit to pricey premises, you can set up online with no technical expertise using a website builder and start selling from your kitchen table. Plus, raising finance to start a business from a bank has gained a reputation of being too difficult. But today, you can bypass this altogether with schemes that are dedicated to helping entrepreneurs launch, such as crowdfunding or startup loans. Branson's personality and unconventional business style has won him awards, global fame, and fortune. He's said now to be worth $4.2 billion. Number 10. Sam Walton. Founder of Walmart, one of the biggest superstores in the USA, Sam Walton had just returned to his private life after serving in the US Army during World War II, when he opened his first retail store in 1945. His father-in-law lent him $25,000, which was used to buy his first store, and thankfully, he became an immediate success. By the mid-1970s, Walmart was valued at more than $176 million. Today, it has more than 11,000 stores across the globe and has an operating income of more than $21 billion in 2019. In his book, Made in America, one of his key principles is to follow your own path, not the path followed by others. Quote, ignore the conventional wisdom, and if everybody else is doing it one way, there's a good chance you can find your niche by going in exactly the opposite direction. I hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, let us know by giving it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to our channel to keep watching more interesting and entertaining videos like this one.